Today, we've been 3D printing all night, and we have a Gundam toe. This is ChillPoint.
Which toe? The big one? The tiny one?
It's also like 1/16. It's not even like a full-size toe.
Yeah. The weird thing
But
is,
do Gundams have like individual toes, or is this like cartoon toes where it's like really just like the front of the foot?
yeah, the weird thing is that mobile suits.
Are there any Gundams with like individual toes?
Well, there is a mobile suit Z27, which is not a Gundam specifically. It's not made out of Gundanium, but it is a mobile suit for. It's like the Zaku's and all that kind of stuff, and the goofs and everything. There is a toe, and so it has a weird
It's like
foot
a single toe, or like individual
Sorry.
toes?
Are Gundams actually made out of a material called Gundanium?
That's what
Yes,
makes them
that's why
Gundams.
they're Gundams.
Yeah, but only Gundams are made out of Gundanium. All the rest of the mobile suits are not.
I did not know that was a thing.
I know it sounds made up, and it is in terms of it being a fictional thing, but that's why.
1978, Paul. This is not high sci-fi.
Yeah, coming up with a stupid name for a material.
To sell toys to children.
Can't be a real Gundam if it's not made in Gundanium.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just sparkling giant robot. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to ChillPoint, show where we talk about all the week's video game news, which this week included some Gundam stuff. How are we doing in terms of volume? Just to double check.
It's been a while since we've been here, and we just want to make sure you're okay, you can hear us, and
Things been adjusted.
stuff.
Yeah, you got to understand, because you're not paying for this, how we make money is volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make more money by volume. It's very...
We're losing money, but we make it up in volume.
Exactly. That's why Oki Oki is so popular and Let's Nope.
because of how loud they scream.
Beige is a little translucent.
Wait, do
I
I
would
get...
be,
Wait,
yeah.
no, do I get paid more if I get more screaming on streams? Because I could try.
You could try.
I could try. I don't think anyone would enjoy it at all,
Yeah.
but I could do it.
I know. I would tune in for Screaming Heather's stream.
Paul just wants to see me
shit.
scream. Wow.
Loud
not-
Heather stream.
That's not what I was expecting. Alright, I mean, I'm just gonna show up one day and start yelling directly into your face, and we'll see how that goes.
No. It needs to be in a stream.
I need to be in stream.
There's no reason to do it if it's not being monetized.
I'm not prepared to do it today, but next week you're gonna get really scared.
All right. Well, let's talk about the episode of Checkpoint that just went up yesterday. It was with Kathleen and Beige, and Kathleen started by talking about the Activision Blizzard King.
Oh yeah, it finally
Microsoft
resolved.
acquisition.
They bought it finally.
Yeah, that's finally gone through. I mean, obviously, this story was largely just like, yay, it's done.
It's over. For now.
Actually,
Until somebody sells something else.
I want to do the trailer that
They make themselves a trailer of them buying a thing.
that Microsoft put out a trailer of like, now we're together.
Oh, okay. I guess
and-
that's... I kind of just pictured it being
Now-
a thing of they're like, hey, let's go to the store. Look, we bought this. And they walk out and then they do an unboxing video.
We might
Sounds a lot more fun than probably what happened.
now this might get us muted.
I mean, you could mute the sound. That might help.
Well, but the music is
Okay.
kind of important for it because the
All right.
song they play.
Van Halen's Right Now.
No,
Right.
they're playing the song that they're playing is kind of ridiculous.
Here's what's going to happen. If you're watching this on YouTube and suddenly we just jump towards a new section, you're going to have
Just-
to look this up yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just play the Activision Blizzard King joins Xbox official trailer. All right.
Starting 3, 2, 1.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
There. Yep.
The sounds of the earth are like music.
They're like
All the sounds
you've
of
tried to
the
like
earth are like
evoke
music.
deep emotional
Breezes are busy,
catharsis
don't
in
miss a
look. Our big company bought this other big company.
This is home now. Home.
We are home now.
It's this weird emotional trip they're trying to put you on.
Although I love.
I can get us an army.
Do you think they spent the entire time working on this? They were like, this is going to take us a while, so we might as well make a video?
Oh, they've had this ready for like a year.
Yeah.
It's about time. We're a team.
This is really weird.
All of us.
Yeah.
Oh
one
my
fights
god.
alone.
I'll follow you from here on out.
I thought it was done.
Everyone in the comments, like 50% of the comments are like, Spyro! They remembered Spyro.
That's good. I'm glad they remembered Spyro. Oh, they did not show off enough Hi-Fi Rush there. That was...
Well, Hi-Fi Rush is already Microsoft. Like they didn't. That's not a new acquisition.
Yeah, but still.
Anyway,
How do we take this song and make a Lure version? Can we make a Lure version? I would like a Lure version.
This was meant to be played internally, and
That was
that's
weird.
all that was for.
That was so weird.
That was meant to be played internally because I cannot believe for a moment. Cannot believe if Nintendo did that same shit, like with all those, like, oh, we've acquired this massive company, I would be laughing my ass off just as hard. Like,
I need so many parody videos of this thing.
fuck,
All of them.
man, you have to be. There is a level of arrogance that you have to think that it's that important that you have to show that to the world. Woof.
and the idea is like, it's not like 90% of these games were available on Xbox anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's not like these were previously not, PlayStation
Glad they
exclusives or
remembered
something.
Spyro. I've been playing Spyro recently. It's cute.
Anyway.
hope they're proud.
That amused me and I wanted to play it. Hopefully the song won't get it muted, but anyway.
Well, if we're lucky, it'll just demonetize the video.
They'll
And
be
that'll
the ones
fine.
claiming it too. They'll be like, it's our version, it's our remix.
This is why we need you to support us over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, because then demonetized videos don't matter as much.
They don't matter as much.
But yeah, there is as Kathleen said, the one thing that is kind of interesting is Phil Spencer did talk about this. He was really careful about sort of how he phrased it in terms of like he's like, we really want to look at we consider ourselves like custodians of all these franchises and
Sure.
stuff.
I mean-
and he's saying like we're not gonna. He specifically said like we're not gonna like push out all the like remakes of all these games, but
Okay.
we're gonna be
Just
going
good ones,
through we're gonna be going through the franchise we have and the team, the various production teams and stuff, and if people are really passionate about wanting to bring back a franchise, then we're gonna really push. We're gonna really make that happen.
Could we have more Spyro that's not Skylanders?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm really confused by how Spyro works because I really haven't played a lot of it. I just started the trilogy and then looked up a bunch of stuff, but it just becomes Skylanders after a while, doesn't it?
They have Toys for Bob now, so.
Yeah, they have toys for Bob. Who is
Which-
Bob? Why do they keep taking his toys?
I don't know. I mostly know Toys for Bob as being the people who used to have Star Control, but
They used to have
The-
toys, and now they do not.
the licensing around Star Control is a whole thing unto itself. But it was the people who previously worked on Star Control. Made Toys for Bob, did a couple of fun things, and then did Skylanders. And that made a ridiculously huge amount of money and became like the thing that they have to do for a
Skylanders
while.
was like
18 months, 2 years.
Was it the first Toys to Life style thing, or at least
It was the first one that
big
worked.
one?
Yeah.
Because then we had like Disney tried to do it, and I don't think that worked out super well for them. Nintendo does the Amiibo, which wasn't quite the same, but still is still going
Similar
a little
idea,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they finally have all of their Amiibos for all of the Smash characters out. It took them a long time.
And if you don't have any of those, you can go to your local game store and buy them for $50 a pop.
Or more.
Or more. I just went to a local game store the other day, in fact, and I looked at their shelf of Amiibos and was very surprised Bayonetta was $75. I was just like, these were supposed to be fun.
Well,
They're not fun.
I have almost all the Zelda ones.
So anyway, we'll see if this whole thing comes up in more checkpoints in the future in terms of, ridiculous things that happen. One of the things that they mentioned is that there's like, when we bought Bethesda
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago or however long it was, almost immediately
There was Fallout.
there was Fallout on the in the Xbox system, the Xbox Game Pass and everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
The Bethesda games showed up in Xbox Game Pass very quickly, and all of the other Bethesda games showed up. But they're saying, don't expect that with this acquisition. It's going to be, we're into 2024 before we're moving things, because the acquisition has been so fraught that they haven't actually got.
Yeah, now they need to take a break.
There's
They
a lot
haven't-
of
Went and did a lot of shopping, took a while, time for a break.
careful administrative,
Yeah.
because it's integration into
Gotta put the
new
groceries
system.
away before
Yeah.
you can eat stuff
That's
out of the
gonna be
fridge.
tricky.
Well, and it's not like all of, Activision, Blizzard, King weren't particularly integrated like with each other before either, right? Like it's, Blizzard has its own launcher system, Activision has, it's all different things. So anyway, and then we'll see what happens with old Bobby Kotick.
It's funny because when I was reading this story earlier, there's a part that says Bobby Kotick undoubtedly with a golden parachute so large he will never, God willing, walk again, is what I thought it said. Is what I thought it said. So it's like, he will, God willing, never walk again. And I'm kind of like, holy shit, what did they do? Oh, he'll never work again. That makes a lot more sense.
That's really sad.
That'd be if you had a very small parachute.
Yeah.
I saw somebody in the comments that was like, I'm calling it now. Next CEO of Unity.
Yeah.
Bobby Kotick.
Mhm. Might as well. Go fucking nuts, I guess.
Why can't these people learn to retire by doing stuff like making curry and YouTube videos?
I'm
Yeah.
largely hoping that what's going to happen from this, largely, is that Microsoft's going to analyze everything in the portfolio and say, okay, so now what do we slice off and send on its way? Like, whether that's going to be, what do we sell to another company? Like, are there aspects of ABK that are like, we don't need this because it duplicates something we already have, so we're going to slice that off and send it away? Or will it just straight up be layoffs, right? Because I don't think it's going to be one of those things where they'll be like, hey, we bought all this IP, but now we're gonna chop you off and send you out, unless they sell it to somebody else, being like, we don't need this IP, because the whole point was to acquire IP.
After all this, they're going to be like, Call of Duty, we don't really care that much.
Exactly, yeah, we'll just sell it to Sony.
Call of Duty will be really, really great again.
Weirdly, nobody's that
Yeah.
interested in Call of Duty anymore. They got really sick of it over the last 2 years for some reason. They stopped wanting to talk about it and hear about it. We don't know why, so Sony can buy it.
But it'll be like because we went through that period where Call of Duty was not that important, and now it can be really important again. It can be super good
Yeah. Yeah.
now that they don't have to tell people how bad it is, so that people will think that they're not
Right, yeah, yeah.
You know.
All right, well, let's move on to the brand new analog 3D.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was cool. Great news.
Yeah.
Really neat
okay.
announcement.
Yeah,
what
you
do
want-
what do you, we've seen like a corner of it.
Yeah, we've seen like
a
the
little
first
corner
little bit of it.
Like
yeah.
that's the picture they show is just like the little.
So
corner.
yeah, we don't know what it looks like. We apparently can do a lot of cool things.
Yeah,
Assuming
I
that
hope
the
so.
thing you want to do is emulate a Nintendo 64.
It will play Nintendo 64 games, right? Like,
That is what it's supposed to do.
good. Good start.
And that's probably all it will do, but that's okay because that was what it was supposed to do.
I mean, Peach mentioned something about like some save states and stuff.
So I actually
Yeah.
I have that brought up now. I was going to mention it in the after show, and I just didn't have it ready. I'm like, I'm not going to try to like get through everything.
This is all the like cool things it can do over
Yeah.
and above.
Like for example, obviously original controllers work, so anything you can plug in, even the very rare BIOS sensor that came with Tetris 64 in Japan will work because it'll work through that. Because the whole point is it's emulating, obviously. But saving, you would need a cartridge expansion slot. So they're saying they're going to have save states, and the way Paste Magazine puts it is, this computationally expensive feature isn't always a given on FPGA systems, so it'll be interesting to see how it works here. Well, of course.
Yeah, because presumably the save states wouldn't go on to like the
Cart.
N64 memory card.
No, there'll be something
Right.
inside for it to be like, oh, I can save everything that's going on in memory at this point. And that I'm sure it'll be as close as damn it, if you want to resume a thing. Now, the 64DD will not natively connect, but the CEO suggests that community-developed connection options will work instead. And it's like, I don't know what the hell that means, but that'll be really wild.
They didn't make that many games for that, did they?
They did not, but the whole point is this is supposed to emulate any N64.
Sure, yeah,
So
it's
they're,
just,
I think the idea is like, and also that they don't want to allow for ROMs. So it's like you can't just have it sit on an EverDrive or something and then load it if it has to actually talk to a 64DD. So you can, 4 controllers will work. There'll be 2 USB Type A ports, and then you can also add another 4 additional wireless controllers via Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz wireless. There's a whole bunch of system level visual effects you can disable on a menu level. They will run N64 games at native speeds. So even GoldenEye 007, where it likes to slow down in the 4-player split screen, it's like, we'll emulate that because that's part of the
Or
thing.
can you turn that off and
Yes.
play it at full speed as well?
He's suggesting that optional toggles will enable overclocking, so we'll see what happens there. The expansion pack will just be built in, and you can menu toggle it on or off, because that was just 4 megs of Rambus RAM. And then it does firmware update through a micro SD port, and it will, this is interesting, of course, it will only support pure N64 and the original legacy ecosystem surrounding it, nothing else. No open FPGA, no sort of other like modifications outside of that.
People in the comments were mentioning that apparently there is a open source FPGA implementation of the N64.
Yeah, Mister is working on a core for that, I
that
think.
that it is in process right now.
Or I should say somebody's working on a core for Mister. And Tabor's thing, the CEO Tabor had said that that's going to take a lot. And if people can implement that on something that's open FPGA and you can get that into, because he didn't call it Mister by name, but he's like, people who are doing the DIY thing, more power to you. Like, I think his stance is like, I am very confident that our thing's going to absolutely kick ass, and also I want to see what you can do with your side of things too, because I think that just buoys the whole community, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's not like they're I don't think they're under any illusions about and like N64 emulation has been around for years and years and years and years and years. Mm-hmm. So that's not what they're competing with, really. No. As various people in the comments pointed out, that is the big thing with, or the big detriment to analog stuff, as well as being expensive, is that it is extremely low production runs.
Yeah.
Which I guess is somewhat related.
Yeah.
So chances are it will immediately sell out.
Yeah.
Yep. It will take a while to get. I find. I figure. It's still kind of a niche product. It's not likely a huge company, so their production runs you generally want to be safer. You would rather sell out than end up having a lot of extra.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but then it also takes time to put in for another production run.
Yeah, tooling is.
I mean, it's
So-
it's like any of these things, like the play date or any of these things where you definitely, I feel like, you definitely don't want to get a warehouse stuck with extremely expensive N64
yes.
emulators.
Yeah, when people don't want to buy them. I mean, so there's a point in the comments that was made is that, like, well, okay, so everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of you probably watched me and Ian upgrade a Game Boy Advance,
Yeah.
like an original Game Boy Advance. Give it the new case, give it a rechargeable new screen, obviously the rechargeable battery. Like I think we even put like new buttons and stuff in there because it was cheap to buy those. And overall, it's like, well, the most expensive individual part of that would have been the Game Boy.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a gift from Dandy Geek, which was very nice of Dandy Geek. But everything else, it's like, right, when you put all that that would have cost normally maybe about $100-$150. You got to find like an old one maybe with a smashed screen and be like, oh, I can at least salvage this. So if you work it out, it could cost you about $200, maybe even $300. Well, an Analog Pocket costs $300, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
a fully integrated system.
and it does a lot more than just Game Boy Advance, and you have a lot of other things you can do with it, and it's not the same form factor, but it's also really nice. And so there's this idea of, well, if the N64, like the Analog 3D, ends up costing about as much as a N64 with the HDMI, like a 4K output upgrade, which again, those are, somebody did say in the chat, they're $280, and I don't know if that's Canadian, Australian, or American dollars, but it's $280 to add that to an N64. If they release this thing for $400, it's like they're going to probably come in right where they need to, right? And that's appealing, I think, in a lot of ways, to be like, shit, I can just buy this thing at $400 and it's only a few more dollars than it would have cost me to do all the modding myself.
Yeah, and I mean, it is very much in the, like, if you're the kind of person who wants this thing, $400 is probably not outside what you're willing to pay.
Yeah.
They know their market. Again, they're not,
They picked this for a reason.
yeah, like they know their market. They know what they're doing. This is not something that is going to be, a $50 thing.
For real though, take your Analog Pocket and make it the GBA format.
That would be cool.
I like the original GBA's
the like sides.
side thing a little bit
Yeah,
better than
right.
than the Game Boy style.
The kind of the brick, yeah. But
Uh,
I'm excited to see what they achieve, because I think everybody is, and I'm also excited by the fact that this doesn't feel like it's going to be the Analog NT, which was a Nintendo Entertainment System hardware emulation, but it was $500. And really the only reason for it seemed like it was because you could get HDMI out of it. Like, it really seemed like this is very expensive, it's a very boutique thing, and it's costs a shit ton of money because we're going to make the nicest NES you've ever had.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, I'm too cheap for that. Like, I would just try to go, like, I can go to Epic Games down the street and they have stacks of original NESs up on the thing, and they're probably $150 maybe. I don't know.
I like that Beach was like, I went to a local game store earlier, and now he's just
dropping the
name-dropping.
name. I might as well.
You're not. Yeah. I mean, but that you are not the.
I'm not the target market.
No, not the market. For
Absolutely not. Especially since I still have my NES.
I'm not convinced Beach is the target market of many things.
Yeah, it's true.
Given his weird Venn diagram of things that he wants.
I like to make things too, right? So the aspect of modding things, like all the videos I watch online about modding my my Nintendos, all my mini Nintendos, has always been like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do this. I don't want to just buy a finished product. I want to do all the things, but also it's expensive.
All right, let's move on to Alan Wake 2. Wake me up before you.
So,
Alan
but
Wake.
isn't there more than one Alan Wake game?
There's sort of a half expansion. There's a game.
Oh,
There's
okay.
Alan Wake, and there's a thing called Alan Wake American Nightmares, which was sort of a standalone game, mostly an expansion.
Isn't Control part of the Alan Wake universe?
marginally.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
It's not really, but they're like it's not like there's nothing that like requires it, but there's a DLC for Control that shows that there's some linkages between the two worlds.
But Alan Wake's not
He's not like the hero of Control
in there or anything.
No.
He's just kind of happens to be on the same planet as everybody else.
But yeah, so a little while ago, they came out with there was a remake of Alan Wake, the first Alan Wake game, came out in 2021. But in anticipation of Alan Wake 2, they are going to there's this Alan Wake flashback, which is in Fortnite. And the trailer for it is actually like kind of impressive, in the sense of, and I think this was like, I mean, it's partially to advertise Alan Wake, but also I think to advertise the sort of Roblox-esque, like you can make other games in our game,
Right.
Fortnite thing.
I mean,
which
I think
continues to confuse me as to what Fortnite actually is, but
Or what it's turning into.
it exists. I think it's neat when companies do stuff where it's like, oh, the first game hasn't been out for a while, or maybe it's harder to play, or maybe nobody wants to play the first one because they just want to like get in on the second one. So maybe we make like a little flashback video or something that's like, hey, here's some stuff that's relevant you can find on YouTube or whatever if you just want to jump into the second game. It's weirder to me that seems like that's part of Fortnite, but I guess Fortnite is also a very popular game that a lot of people play.
yeah.
So it also isn't like a bad place to put a thing like that.
I do like,
I don't know who these people are, because I mostly end up streaming with Ian, who claims he'll never be in Fortnite or play Fortnite.
That's true.
And I just...
I mean, Fortnite gets flack, but the reason why they do is because they're so incredibly ridiculously popular.
Well, they're constantly putting out enough, like, they're doing new things all the time, so they hit the news cycle all the time. So we hear about Fortnite all the time.
But part of that is because, like, it's not a bad game. They know what they're doing.
I have questions about the people who make it.
I do like something that I was noticing when I was going through, because, so in Prince of Persia,
Yes.
the second.
Oh, the second game, he's like, I got all broody and dark, and I have a massive beard.
I've been being chased by the Dahaka for like a year or 2 years or however long it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So Alan Wake, if you've played the first game, Alan Wake's he's in this weird mysterious place, and there's this sort of horrible darkness thing that keeps attacking people.
Is he the writer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what the things he writes start coming true.
Because sometimes I think of Alan Wake, and I'm actually thinking of Nathan Drake.
Oh, I'm actually thinking of Deadly Premonition.
The things he writes sort of start coming true in weird ways.
Okay.
And he's in this like there's this like sort of supernatural darkness that keeps attacking things, and there's like this like light has a very important aspect. Anyway, basically, I know nothing about Alan Wake 2 except for that the difference in what the guy. This isn't a very good picture. The difference in what the guy looks like between the first game and his current look. Apparently, like, it's in real time in the sense that it's been like 13 years since the original Alan Wake.
Fun.
And presumably he's been like dealing with some serious stuff over this time.
No. If I have writing powers where things just seem to come to life, I'm fucking writing about rainbows and kittens forever after that.
He's like a mystery horror writer, though.
He might want to consider switching genres.
Yeah. There's
If they were happening to other people, I might consider that answer differently. But if it's happening to me, Rainbows and kittens. Lots of kittens. So many kittens.
Yeah, he's kind of a Stephen King-esque figure. Anyway, yeah, it looks like he's had a rough time. But yeah, if you want to get a quick overview, check it out in Fortnite, I guess. Fortnite's free to play. Okay. This thing's a free download.
I don't think I need an overview. I feel like I know enough information. He wrote some stuff, he got scared, and he ran away for 13 years. Some shit got fucked up, and now it's happening again.
I would be interested to know if being involved in that, what the reception is like. Like, will enough people play it and be like, oh, this is what Alan Wake is about. Oh, cool. I should go get the next game. And then if there's like a thing, where did you hear about this? It's like, oh, I played it in Fortnite. And be like, oh, okay, look, 10% of our players only ever heard of this the first time through Fortnite. It's like, fantastic.
I got this Battle Royale. I got this Alan Wake 2 game, and the Battle Royale in it is very bad.
What if because Fortnite seems to get the word out better than anybody, what if we made an expansion where we could put our update videos in Fortnite? Then everybody will see it.
God, I feel like it would cost a fortune.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Probably would not be worth it for us.
They have like live concerts and stuff.
No, I mean like the update video is a character. And it fights.
It's just yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's talk about Gundam.
All right.
So this is
which Gundam do you want to talk about?
Related to video games because in the sense that this is started with this Gundam Metaverse thing.
Yes.
The Gundam Metaverse project, which is like it's like an online space that people can like virtually go and hang out and look at Gundams in.
And it's kind of like God, it's so hard to understand what this means because I understood it as being this is like the seeds of an MMO that they're laying down. But I've also heard that there are video games that are based on like individual video games that are based on a Gundam MMO that is never getting made. Like a Gundam MMO that was floated as an idea, but it's never getting made, so all the ideas are now being made, are coming into like other video games. And so I keep trying to understand like what was the point of this Metaverse project other than a gacha generation system where you dump a whole bunch of money in and maybe you get parts to build Gundams out of it. Like it's not Gundam Build Metaverse. It's the Gundam Metaverse project. It's supposed to have like lots of elements like glomming onto it. And even now they've disabled the client-side downloading, so you can't use that, but they left up Metaverse Easy Access, so you can log in and you can spin your gacha wheels and like win all sorts of shit. And also, I think if you buy certain kits, you can register the kits in the Metaverse, so that way this kit belongs to you. I'm sure it'll end up on a blockchain somewhere. It belongs to you. And then you can do things probably like paint it, or maybe you can walk around in it. Like, I'm not really sure at this point about what this Metaverse project actually is anymore.
Well, I
just started.
Throw Metaverse stuff typically in with the NFT stuff at this point because a lot of it's within that range, like, because NFTs were a thing and the Metaverses were also kind of glomming into there, and it's one of those... buzzwords got used.
Yeah.
Is it a thing? Did they try and make money and now they've given up on that one because that didn't work out so well? Like
yeah. And I don't know if there's gameplay built into this or not, but seeing all the other like Ian has shown me a few online access this through your browser kind of Gundam like online games. They can be very intense, and there can be like lots of like. There's always, of course, it's about fighting. So it's always about fighting, and there's lots of flying around and fighting and doing missions and doing whatever. And I'm like, okay, I bet that's part of this. But I haven't seen screenshots.
No, I think the stuff that he's been showing you isn't necessarily part of this.
Well, no, I mean that kind of gameplay is supposed to be part of this ultimately. But I don't think it is yet, or now, or maybe it never will be because the Metaverse concept is tanking. What we do know is that all the stuff that they have in the client-side files are actual model kits, because it's not like they designed a model and be like, boom, we're done. We have the model is designed and it's finished. It's like, no, literally, you can take these parts and you like there's parts that are going to be 95% obscured by something else, but those parts are still part of the CAD. So that's the thing, is like, you wouldn't normally design completely obscured parts into a character that you're going to be flying around in a game. You would just design a model and everything would just kind of stick together, right? So it's like, no, this is like, you have parts you can build in this thing. So I'm assuming that it also is kind of set on, we want you to build stuff here too. So
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So whatever the metaverse thing is,
We're gonna ignore that.
the end
part.
result is that due to however they set up the client,
Oops, whoops, files for everyone.
it looked, yeah, people were able to extract the actual model files for to build a gun. And and it seems to be, it's not like the 3D models of the Gundams.
no,
It's the actual the actual model kit version.
Yeah.
And as B said in the story, printing these out on like a home 3D printer, is not really going to give you the same result as if you can buy, especially like the really high end ones.
yeah.
Unless you have a really expensive 3D printer, in which case you're you've already paid way more money
Yeah.
than these things are worth.
This is how you're going to get your money back, is by making yourself your own models. But
But yeah, you can. I mean, some random company could easily make a cheap knockoff.
Knockoffs, or
But-
you could get.
But I feel like that's not a new thing either, though.
I don't know how easy it is to get replacement parts if you have a problem with a part
That's
in the
true.
kit.
Yeah.
So
That could be a big thing.
That could be a good thing. I expect this is also something where if you're really familiar with how 3D modeling works, that maybe you can use that as a way to modify a part and make something different if you're like doing the modding of a 3D model.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that a lot of especially older Gundam kits are available as 3D models that people have actually, like, that fans have made.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
It's
getting
like-
the official thing, especially if it is actually kits that haven't been released yet, obviously that's a big deal.
I've
Yes.
seen people get figurines and then basically strip and repaint them in such a way that it would not surprise me if there's a person out there who's just like, this is perfect for everything I'm about to do.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the me picking the 1 to 8 scale for the cosplay is more because I was like, 1 to 1 is not going to work. Obviously, I mean, there'll be people out there who'd be like, now that we have CAD files, we can actually make individual pieces. I'm like, I guess if you have a hydraulic press, if you have machines that can make these massive panels,
there are people
out of,
who exist.
and it's like, this can happen, obviously, and you might see people get like, well, now we can make
Well,
this thing if we want to, but
I mean, I've talked to Ian about that during Tinker Tailor, is that I would love if in the world of Gundam,
yeah,
like somebody who is like a Gundam engineer or a Gundam mechanic, what they do, like they get this, a huge truck comes in and delivery of like a giant sprue comes out, and they have like blow torches and titanium tools to cut off the different parts of the
like,
sprue.
don't leave an edge, and there's guys with like rotary sanders who like get it all nice and smooth. Like, we make these, like we have places like but this is more about internally what I like. I like to put the big plastic up, the big fiberglass. So I guessed that 1 to 8 scale is probably a more appropriate size, given how big some of these are. But maybe 1 to 12 is maybe a little bit more realistic.
To be honest, I assumed like that picture that you gave me to put in there is actual Gundam cosplay.
Is.
And to be honest, I assumed that somewhere in the description of that cosplay, they'd say that they'd done it 1 to 8 scale or something.
I did not see it. No, it's
I just assumed that you had done your research.
But
I
also,
guess.
I also felt that it's like, 1 to 8 also sounds even bigger than what you would normally wear. So I'm like, there will be people doing kind of the Warhammer thing of I'm making a suit that's even bigger than me,
and then
I'm-
like wear stilts and
exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
and I'm gonna make an even bigger kind of idea. and it's-
Sometimes you make the costume and then you make yourself work for the costume as opposed
Yeah.
to you make the costume work for you. That's it's actually how a lot of fashion, especially in the Victorian age, works.
yeah. But
Fashion is a thing that you make yourself work into, not the other way around.
Be the dress you want to see in the world.
I saw a woman who was like saying the Edwardian like hourglass figure where it's all bumps and curves. It's that she's like, so that's not just a corset because
No.
you can put a corset
yeah.
on, but it's like you also have to wear like hip padding.
Yep.
And then you wear bust padding. And she says, "Here I am in the dress, then like an old Edwardian dress. See how it kind of looks like this. Now here's me, put it beside me, with all the bust padding, with all the hip padding. It's like it's a much more like pleasing shape for the dress because the dress was designed to look like this. And it's like okay,
That's
I
like
get it now.
the bustle is an extra part that's meant to make the thing. Like that's what I mean. Like you do not fit the dress.
No.
You make it fit you.
Yeah, put everything where you need
Yeah.
to. And it's like makeup was not okay back then, but padding every part of your body to make the dress look good was like completely fine.
Well, more clothes the better.
Yeah, it was wild.
All right, let's talk about quick points. Kathleen had a couple of little bits here. Bayonetta creator
Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya has left Platinum Games and is now apparently super into making curries.
All right.
Yeah.
To the extent that he has like a YouTube channel talking about it and stuff.
Now, Kathleen has a line, which is a very good line, waiting out his non-compete clause by doing these things. Is that just snark, or is that a thing that we know?
I kind of feel like
don't know.
it wouldn't surprise me if it was the case that he was like, I'm just going to take the time off because I shouldn't just jump into doing something else. Or maybe he did sign an NDA. I mean, he was kind of he was the head, wasn't he the head? Or was he was like a lead director for many years? So like whoever's the head of Platinum Games might have been like, I don't want you going somewhere else and making new games.
I mean, a non-compete clause is like not an uncommon thing in tech industry stuff.
And there,
but,
and in North
but that's why I
America-
ask, because it also I feel like there's so much burnout that if you're at a high enough level, you leave a company and you're just like, I'm making curry YouTube videos now. It's like starting a plant garden thing.
Yeah. As far as I can tell in that article, it doesn't say anything about.
Okay.
So maybe I think that's mostly just snark, possibly.
It's potentially true.
It's.
I just want to know
yeah.
if that was something that was commented on. It's an excellent piece of snark.
It's shall we say informed snark.
Yeah.
That it's entirely possible, but who knows?
I do like
Okay.
the fact that it's like he says his YouTube channel won't be held to anyone wanting to be in the gaming industry, and it's kind of like. I feel like that's also kind of a thing of like, please don't ask me to do whatever the hell Sakurai is doing because I can't. No, that's not. I just want to make curry, and I like that idea because like Sakurai just being like, I got out of gaming. What am I going to do? I got a lot of knowledge I want to
wanna
share
talk
with
about
everybody. So I'm going
gaming.
to talk about gaming for a while.
Let's and we were talking when we were after we were shooting this that I love the idea that like. Somebody comes on and wants to interview him, and he doesn't want to talk about Bayonetta stuff at all. He only wants to talk about. He's like, they're like, so when you're working on Bayonetta, he's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Bayonetta.
Not until you eat this curry.
Only curry-related questions. You don't think people will be interested that you used to work on Bayonetta?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I
I
mean-
only want to be known for my curries.
You want to talk about Astral Chain?
I didn't look at his YouTube channel, but I do kind of hope that the whole thing is just him making different kinds of curry.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Yeah, apparently he's saying that he like, lost track of what day it is. He
Good.
got so into making curry.
I mean, when I lost my job, I definitely had that thing of like, I actually don't know what day it is right now, which is fine. I was completely okay with that.
Didn't you say like 10 minutes before we started that
Yeah.
you're
My parents are coming today to the island, and they texted me yesterday to be like, hey, so we'll be on the 3 p.m. tomorrow, right? I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they went, shit, wait, I thought they were coming on Friday.
What I'm saying is your employment or lack thereof
Yes.
doesn't seem to affect that.
No.
I also
no.
love your OPSEC.
Do you know how, Paul? You're aware of how often I have forgotten that. After checkpoint, the next day I have to come back to the office at even a later time than normal to do more of this, and I always
He
forget.
never remembers he's supposed to show
Always
up.
forget that ChillPoint is the next day. I've only started remembering it again, like recently, the last month or
Friday
so.
doesn't exist for him.
Yeah.
Like, I swear we got up in the morning, he's like, it's Saturday.
Welcome to Friday Night Paper Fight. Oh wait, it's Thursday. No, it's Wednesday.
I mean, that was pretty
Wednesday.
funny. That was during the subathon.
Yeah.
I thought at first that she was just doing a bit, because it's Friday Night Paper Fight. It's not
think-
that far off.
Yeah, she was trying to do a bit, but then it was actually more off than she thought it was. Mario's new voice actor is apparently Kevin Afghani. Although, I mean, at this point, voice actor is maybe not. I don't know if there's a different term for somebody who like does the like. Not fully, but it's like the sounds as opposed to the actual voice.
I was listening to a podcast
Trent
the other
Reznor
day
did
that
that
actually
for-
had
for,
that had the
for
term
Quake.
for that. It's still considered voice acting, but they have a specific term for it.
Efforts, exertions.
Exertions. Efforts. No, maybe it was something else. But they do have a term for that kind of thing where it's just like that kind of thing, and then I think there's a term that's just for grunt sounds. And then voice acting, and then there's if you're just doing background, I think it's called walla.
Yeah, Walla. Yeah. The also his response, you could tell is extremely corporatified. The like incredibly proud to have voiced Mario and Luigi in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Thanks to Nintendo for inviting me to the Flower Kingdom.
Yeah, very non-committal.
Definitely sounds like something that they had to submit to get to get permission to post.
Because that like if you're the new voice actor for Mario and people ask, are you the new voice actor for Mario? Obviously the correct answer is, it's a me.
Yeah, it's a me.
Like just a tweet that just says like, it's a me.
I don't. God, that's a wasted opportunity, isn't it?
But I don't know, maybe I haven't played Mario Wonder, but maybe he doesn't even get to say like, I don't know if he even says like
It
that
just came out
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
like today.
Like, and his name will be in the credits.
But
Almost certainly.
it's just come out today, but the reviews came out a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and
Now-
it's getting ridiculously good reviews.
Chances
Very
are
exciting.
good that if he's voicing Mario and Luigi in this game, he is potentially voicing Mario and Luigi in future games. But this is like the latest Mario game, so as a part of that approved post, that's also basically advertising. That's why you use the name of the game, and I don't see them like swapping out voice actors every like time a new game comes out.
I want to have all the folks who have played Mario and Luigi over the years to have a roundtable discussion on like how to do the Mario voice versus the Luigi voice.
Yeah.
How do
okay.
you sound taller?
Well, more scared really is kind of, I think, the big difference.
Because
I hear it's a lot of fun,
he did both voices, and
Charles Martinet.
Charles Martinet also did both voices.
Yeah.
Obviously in the movie it's different, but
And then before that, the only other people to play Mario would have been Captain Lou Albano and Danny, what's his name, who played Luigi on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. And I can't remember if they also did the voices for the cartoon or not. Because then there was also a Mario Bros. 3 cartoon and a Mario World cartoon.
I think they did the voices for the cartoon segments in the Mario
Super
Brothers
Show.
in the
Yeah,
Super
I
Show.
think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember them
right.
sounding that different.
Bob Hoskins played him, and John Leguizamo played Luigi in the original live-action movie.
Pretty sure they didn't do any voices though for the for any. I mean, not even. I think there was. I don't know if there was like a Mario the movie the game, but
No, I don't think that there was not. No.
Anyway,
There was a lot of people who expected that there would be a Mario game when the Mario movie came out, even if it wasn't like a
Danny
game
Wells.
about the movie, and that just didn't happen.
the Van Gogh Museum.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about these guys a few times because, like, to be honest, all the pictures of the actual art that they have come out with for it is like super sweet. I like it.
Yeah.
And even the Pikachu with the felt hat picture is really nice.
It's very charming. Yeah.
I really like the way it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pikachu wears hats well.
this is why we can't have nice things. People really people were causing all sorts of problems. They got bought out all the stock, and then they got put it on resellers and all this kind of nasty stuff. It is unfortunate. I saw somebody in the comments was like, what they should do
Oh no, I saw his comment.
is just massively overprint those cards.
It's not okay.
Just
what
give
they
it
said is not like
just give it to people. Give people like a card with their ticket into the museum.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you are, you are somebody who cares, you'll have it as a keepsake, and it'll also tank the resale value on
Yeah.
it.
yeah, they're not completely wrong. Yeah, because that comment had that they could fix this if they just completely printed everything, and then anyone who showed up all got one.
But you would know that anybody who paid for a ticket to get into the museum during this promotion got a card at the gift shop. It was part of the price of the ticket. According to the article I read, or at least one of the articles I read, said that it was supposed to be part of the price of the ticket that everyone's supposed to get. I'm like, then how did people get extras? Did they get back in line and get
think they
extras?
just went and bought
or
another
were they
ticket.
actually also available for sale?
Anyway,
But it's still a thing of I feel like, given that the museum was like, we're not doing this anymore at all, I don't think they thought that people would probably line up and be as the videos we saw were pretty awful with how people were reacting. And if the whole thing is you have a ticket, you can get the thing very easily, that lineup shouldn't be as pushy. Or
Yeah.
really, it really should.
it's-
So the fact that people were acting that way, even if they had enough tickets for everyone to just give people tickets, I feel like if the museum might view the point that where it's like, this is how people are going to act, we're not doing this anymore.
yeah. And from what I understand, this is a relatively minor part of the Van Gogh Museum.
Yes, that's true.
So I can see that the museum, the idea of doing this as a collaboration to as a promotional thing is
Yeah.
great, but it's like, if it gets to the point where it's disrupting the actual function of the museum in
Yeah.
the sense of allowing people to see the paintings, then clearly we've got a problem
If
here.
we had people coming in and just grabbing the card and then leaving, and they weren't going and viewing the museum,
It's like, now, that's not
that
helping
is
anything.
is the whole point of that. It's like when you get Pokemon stuff at GameStop. The point is you'll come into the store and maybe you'll buy stuff and they give you this free card. And for the museum, if it's actually also tied to that ticket, they're expecting you're going to go look through the museum, and if you're not, there's really no point for this for them.
I mean, well,
The Van Gogh Museum is like, we need to sell those gameplay guarantees.
it's
Come on.
It's funny because, though, in a way, from the purely mercenary aspect of running a museum, is that what you do want to do is you want to increase throughput. The more people who show up to the museum, and the more people who pay for a ticket to get in or make a donation or whatever, even if their whole thing is I paid to get into the museum, I went directly to the gift shop, I bought my mug from the MoMA, and I'm just gonna fucking leave because I don't have time to look at all the modern art kind of idea, right? It's like, museums want to keep their numbers up because that's what helps them get endowments to be like, we had 3.5 million people come through here the other year. We need to keep the museum operational, obviously. Our budgets are quite obviously pretty
Right.
depressed. So if you can give us more money, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a way to fluff your numbers, I think. But
But if it's to the point where people are disrupting people who do actually want to come to the show,
yeah,
then that's not good.
Because I would hate that. Like if I showed up, it's like if I showed up to the Van Gogh Museum because I'm on vacation, and I'm like I have an opportunity to go do this. And it's like, oh, there's a Pokemon event. This is awesome. And then I try to get in. I have to wait for 3 hours to get in. When I do, it's an absolute fucking crush to get in. And the whole reason for it is just because there's people constantly moving to try to. I'm like, I want to see sunflowers. Not really. I want to see a starry night, but it's like I want to see like some of those things because this is the only time I'm going to have an opportunity to be here to see this stuff, and I need to know if it affects me or not. So then I can go to the gift store, and I'd like to, then maybe I'll buy a thing, a starry night keychain or whatever. It's like I want to do that kind of thing, and then I can go on my way. It feels a little a Starmie Night. That's very.
Oh,
it's very good laser book series. Yeah.
I can't remember that legendary Pokemon that is literally a wishing star.
Speaking of which.
Victini.
If I recall correctly,
That's the victory Pokemon.
I believe Starry Night is actually at the MoMA in
San Francisco?
no in New York.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe
Or the Guggenheim or something like that?
Yeah, I think
no
it's
the MoMA
Jirachi.
in San Francisco. I know because I think maybe the MoMA in San Francisco because I saw it. I was like, oh
Nice.
wow, that's that.
That is what that is, yeah.
Cool.
Frankly, I mean, if I went to the Louvre, I don't know if I'd care if I saw the Mona Lisa or if I saw one of the 30 other Mona Lisas that him and his retinue made. That I think I'd be like, oh, it's a completely different one. That's fun. It's like when we went to
Oh yeah,
we went to
He's
Japan.
in New York. Yeah.
When we went to Japan and we went to go see.
There's also
Castle.
there's also a MoMA in San Francisco. I think.
I think so. I thought there was.
I think there are multiple MoMAs.
In the Real Steel game for Playdate, I got to steal a Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it's in black and white, monocolor.
I think they were just giving it an off-color name.
Fair. Anyway.
And then, does anybody like K-pop?
I know many people who do.
Yeah.
Statistically, probably.
I probably have heard some. I don't know if I know the difference between J-pop and K-pop at this point.
Well, one is from Japan, and one is from.
Thank you, Paul. I knew you could help me out.
In one, I can pick out words I understand, and in one I can't.
That's actually true. I do recognize the Japanese language a lot more from
most
watching
of those
anime.
words are English.
I just meant in terms of like presentation.
But anyway, the Blizzard has started a collaboration with Le Seraphim, and they're doing this like Overwatch 2 collaboration. Apparently, there's going to be custom game mode and some skins. I don't know what the game mode is going to be.
Yeah.
K-pop versus K-pop. I don't know. Like as a team building K-pop exercise, you need to go do some shooties.
You need to kill each other.
What if you all dance? It's just a dance battle. Just everyone dances at each other
Don't make this game appealing to me.
until they all sync up, and then they're all
Stop
dancing.
trying to
together.
make this game appealing to me.
But yeah, this is as Kathleen pointed out. This is Riot has famously had several bands. The first one I believe was like a metal band.
Okay.
But then the most popular, the KDA, just was incredible girl group K-pop band. That I mean the thing of them performing live, from a technical standpoint, totally blew my mind. Because they have them performing live with moving cameras, with the full motion tracked, like with their like cool like CG extras attached to them and stuff.
That's cool.
With outside with cameras moving, and it's like holy doodle, that's impressive.
We can do amazing things. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think this was like in response one or the other, but it happened to be at the same time. That the Riot is having starting a new group called
Heartsteel.
Heartsteel.
Yeah. Very.
Honestly, it's a really good boy band name.
Yeah, it really is.
Like I feel like it
Yeah.
really like and not just boy band name, but the kind of name you expect to see in an anime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And yeah, it's again like KDA, it's a group of they're real and previously existing
Artists. Yeah.
that like people know who they are.
Yeah. There's a K-pop star. There's a Mando pop star. There's an LA-based rapper. Yeah, they're kind of getting people from all over.
And then and also similar to KDA, they're actually like they're portraying characters because League of Legends has like 500 characters in it.
Okay.
Or like 200 or
Sure,
something.
yeah,
A
but it's
really
still-
large number of characters.
I
And
believe either number.
And so they're playing.
I'd believe
And
a
so
bigger
so
number.
they're playing. And it also has this sort of alternate universe thing. Alternate universes. So like there's different things. So like the KDA performers are also like in the game of League of Legends.
yeah, I mean that makes sense.
As
really.
skins of
Right.
other people, and so same with these guys are also they're portraying characters from the League of Legends game. One of which is like a ninja who doesn't speak, so he's like he's like dances and plays instruments in the band, I guess.
One of them's the producer, apparently.
I mean, this is why League's always made me angry, is because I'll be looking around on the internet and then a
140.
random trailer of something will show up
Yeah.
that'll look really cool. It'll be about magical girls, or it'll be about like a band or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, what video game is this? That looks cool. And then it's like League, and I'm like, I'm not
more
playing
League.
that. I
Yeah.
know you made this look. You made a different game that I want in this
Yeah.
trailer, and then you told me I can't have it.
But it's just like looking at what Riot's been doing, and especially their whole thing where they like we're gonna have here's the Riot presentation, which is 25, 168, whatever new games that we're gonna be making. I don't know how many numbers it was, but it's like we're making new games in different genres that use these characters, and we're gonna make Arcane for like Netflix, and we're gonna do like all these.
yeah,
things. It's
yeah,
like,
they're doing some spin-off game stuff.
Yeah,
in the
the-
same
the-
world.
yeah.
Yeah, the League of Legends extended universe has gotten quite extended in the
Yeah.
last little while.
And I think it's a smart idea because what it means is that also then you don't have to, if you created IP like this, that you're like, we have very good penetration into people's minds of what our IP is. People like a whole bunch of these characters.
Into their minds.
If we can find some smaller studios to work with who have time to make a side-scrolling platformer or a match 3 puzzle game and that fits characters, and we can create that stuff and people want to take part in those things instead, it's like, it's very much the Nintendo thing of I have a lot of IP, so let's make a party game, let's make a tennis game.
I look forward to their
that kind of idea.
Had them meeting people at the Olympics then.
Yeah. Kind of like Hearthstone with Here's the Storm and like World of Warcraft and all that. It's like, let's make a different style of game that also ties into
I believe
these
they
other things.
have a rhythm game we haven't gotten to as well.
Yeah.
That's
Looking forward to
League
that.
related. It looks fine.
All right.
I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but it looks fine from what I've seen.
I would assume that you would enjoy a shot at any rhythm game coming from a AAA because it means that at least they made the investment to try to make it interesting. As opposed to like some indie rhythm games that don't make the effort.
I just get really bored of the shooter rhythm games
Fair.
genre, the bullet hell style rhythm game,
Right.
which seems to be all over Steam. But that's me.
And finally, in the episode of ChillPoint, we had that quick coming up talking about First Run, which is Epic's new thing. What qualifies as First Run and what the extent of that is, I don't think has been fully revealed yet. But it's basically it's a new developer program where you get 100%.
Yeah. For 6 months.
Yeah, the
for-
revenue for 6 months.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a really cool program.
Which, I mean,
Despite
that sounds good.
Epic has its issues, and we touched on the Bandcamp thing in there as well. But like
Yeah.
the idea of
Also, to be
for
fair,
the first 6 months, especially because for most games the biggest sales happen within that time period.
yeah, I mean that seems like a really a really aggressive deal, shall we say?
Yeah.
And to be clear, we're the the Bandcamp thing again was mostly snark.
Yeah.
We're not actually putting forward the idea that this was funded by selling Bandcamp, because I'm sure it wasn't. But we wanted to get in the thing about Bandcamp there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked before about how, because Epic has that thing where they give a game away all the time, and we've had in the past where we're like, so turns out they're really losing money on that. It's not quite the loss leader of people come in and then they end up buying other stuff because they got their free game and then they downloaded your store and platform and whatever. It's they downloaded your game and they're like, great, see ya.
I have never bought a game on Epic. I have 200 games or so in my Epic library.
Yeah,
there's some really good games in there that they've given away.
I'm sure. And they pay, as far as I understand it, they do pay the developers to do that, to give that game away.
It's like doing Apple Arcade, is that you get a big chunk of money from Apple apparently to be like, give us your game to put on the service. We'll make sure that you've made some money off of this.
This is definitely at least a thing to try to get devs to come to their platform.
Yeah.
Probably even first, depending on how those how that's written out. Like if that first run includes having to be like your very first what you're putting out, and maybe you can only be on Epic. Like I don't know if there's restrictions like that, but if there are,
yeah.
I could see that being a thing.
It'd be interesting because I know that a lot of I've been seeing a lot of games on services on like different storefronts where it's like, our game is coming soon, please pre-order it now, 10% off, that kind of idea. That happens, right?
Yeah, they'll do that.
Or like on launch, they'll be like, hey, we're going to knock 15% off the top of the price of the game on launch for the first 2 weeks because we really want to encourage people to come in and really, again, fluff the numbers, right? Like, you're going to buy it in 2 weeks or buy it now. You might as well get it a little bit cheaper now. Yeah, why not? It's on sale right now, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely could see people doing this and being like, when the game comes out, they're like, okay, so because we get 100% of the revenue and we don't have to give 15% to Epic, we're gonna just price it 15% lower than we normally would for the next 5.5 months, and then we're gonna juice it back up to where it needs to be, so that when Epic takes over, or Epic gets their 15% cut after that, we've hopefully sold way more games. We've still made the same amount of money, but we got more people to buy it because it was cheaper.
I mean,
a lot of games do that, like or at least for like the first week or whatever, they'll have a discount.
But then they don't need to lose out on the revenue.
Yeah,
I would go for the 10%.
Yeah.
Just because then you're making slightly more revenue, but you're still doing the discount. And the majority of like get our game discounted now tends to be around 10%.
Yeah.
So that's within.
I mean, I wonder, of course, the thing of the like, if this is in reaction to the Unity thing, even though this is their store, not the Epic, not the Unreal Engine, but still, it's like, oh hey, not this thing that we were like kicking around, maybe doing, we could totally put out now, just to really drive home onto the Unity thing.
Yeah. Because you could look at it as a response to, hey, look at how shitty we treated Bandcamp. Ultimately, it's like, well, Epic didn't do to Bandcamp what's going on to Bandcamp right now. They sold them off. They're not the ones ultimately responsible for the bad thing that's happening. Let's be fair.
But they bought them if they hadn't bought them in the first place,
we wouldn't be in this whole instance. So that idea of like, are they releasing First Run as an idea right now to get people excited for the idea that, hey, we're not all bad, or we're not doing anything bad, or whatever. It's like, is that covering that off? Who knows? Hard to say if this is a PR move or not.
I would argue that yes, Epic bought Bandcamp, but that doesn't mean someone else just wouldn't have bought them instead.
Ultimately,
Epic, like
Who
usually
knows?
when you get the idea of stuff is for sale in the terms of there are groups that just show up and are like, if I give you enough money, will you give me the thing you have?
Yeah.
And then stuff is for sale in the sense of like, we need to sell in order to do whatever.
Yeah, and
So
we
depending
don't.
on what that was.
I'm sure there's all sorts of behind the scenes things that happen with that.
Still be angry about it, definitely, but
Yeah.
Now, because of the quick points and stuff, we went through most of the stories that I had marked.
No more new news.
But there's a couple of things.
there's some other
A couple extra things. Pokemon Go has a new feature called Group Challenges, which is this is a little weird because that is sort of something that they've always wanted people to do. But so this idea is basically, I mean, it's a little bit like the like the
Raid or the
well, it's a little bit like the groups, like the co-op stuff that you can do in the Pokemon like Scarlet and Violet game. Like basically
You can form a party.
yeah,
see,
you can form a
okay.
party.
I'm aware of how this works. So
So you can be you can meet up somewhere with your buddies, up to four, like you and three other people can. So up to four people can be in a party.
Okay.
And then you say I want to form a party. You get a code, or I think you can do like a QR code that they can just scan on your phone.
Okay.
And then you are then in a party. Like in the game, so like on your phone, you'll see like all four of you running around instead of just you.
Oh, neat. Okay.
To me, it's a little bit weird because it's like Pokemon Go has always has had this idea of like get your friends together
Yeah,
and hang out in a single space anyway.
Yeah, because they have the raids and stuff, which were always kind of like
So this is
together
like
kind of thing.
So this is like, you were already being together to play Pokemon Go, but now you're together also in the game, and like when you do certain challenges, you can get like some in-game bonuses. When you do raid fights, you can like help each other out.
You do it's either something like more damage or the I think what I read was the time it takes for your Pokemon to be able to do the really big fight move is reduced a lot because you have friends with you.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It is kind of a mode that I'm surprised hasn't existed earlier in its lifetime.
Or like you think that they could do something like if somebody who you are friends with in Pokemon Go, if you are just in the same physical location, boop, they pop up on your screen. Like it seems like that like the whole like sharing codes and stuff thing.
So,
you need to do for
before Find My Friend, there was like a thing, like I remember a long time ago where I had a friend who was like, oh, if we do this thing, we'll always know each other's location and we should definitely do this thing. And they were the kind of friend who I didn't always want them to know if we were in close vicinity with each other. So in the same respect, I don't know that just because I'm friends with somebody...
Have it optional. Have it as a thing.
I would necessarily want, like, suddenly... people pop into my phone and it's like, oh, hey, guess who's around?
Yeah, like I'm at my secret hangout thing that nobody knows about. I don't want somebody to just stop in. I mean, your secret hangout thing is a public place, but you don't tell people where it is.
Or, like, I know a lot of streamers will friend people on devices like that who are fans, and now you have that.
Okay.
Like, I'm just saying it.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just don't think it would work in the fun way.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves about, there's a lot of problems with the multiplayer aspect of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It could be so much better. But one of the things that I find just consistently super annoying is that I play online with my brother, and he's the only one I play online with. And every week, or couple weeks, or whenever we get a chance to do it, have to make a new code. And you create the thing, and it's like, hey, you're going to create an online thing. Here's how it works. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. It goes. You have to go through like 5 screens of it telling you how it works. Make the code. Send the code. It's like I want to be. Can't I just be back in the group that we had before?
Yeah, I mean, at worst, it really should be a thing of you've already read these screens before. Do you need to read them again? Push this button, or just here you go because you've already.
It's like
done
you don't have
once.
to explain to me how this thing works
Every single
yet
time.
again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Put it in the help system. I'll look it up if I need the help again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the online system could be so much better with like tiny change. Just a few little changes would make it so much more.
For Pokemon Go, having like a because we used to do a number of around the office used to play. And we would occasionally be like, oh, are we on break? Great. Somebody saw that there's like a Snorlax in the street. And
sometimes not even when we're on break. People would just leave.
Get up and go. And you go and do raids together. Generally you go with other people, especially now when like not as many people are necessarily just at a raid spot. So I like yeah, this would have been a lot of fun when I was actively playing it with all my friends who were actively playing. Being able to all be in the same group and running around and doing stuff. I'm a little surprised this isn't something that existed earlier, because Pokemon Go's been around for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe they've been waiting. Maybe when the pandemic hit, if they were working on this, they're like, we're gonna have to wait.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Final one. This is possibly. I don't know any inside information, but I'm gonna say this is possibly a spoiler for a future watch and play. 'Cause holy crap, the new King Kong game. It's called Skull Island King Kong or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
King of Kong.
Is so bad.
Is
like,
it?
And people, it is. I don't know anything. I haven't played the game, but the videos that people are posting about just being like, this is a game that came out this year.
I mean, we didn't make them play Redfall or whatever that
No,
game was.
but like, no, this is.
Is this different?
Yeah, here, let me. Yeah, do not buy the King Kong game. Okay,
Oh, look, it's King Kong.
this is a real, unedited cutscene from the or like not a whatever.
It's a video capture of the gameplay.
Yeah, a real in-game cutscene that happens.
What? What the?
There's just a still frame.
remembering something?
Did they forget to finish?
God. Oh man. You know what? They could have decided to actually make them look like they were claymation, and that would be amazing. I love how the all of the trees in the background are exactly the same height, so they look like a platform you can walk on. That was good too.
Who made this game?
Someone in chat will probably say so. Or...
I mean, so if chat knows, that's great. Like,
Game Mill Entertainment,
well,
which is already
Well,
like
that
setting.
kind of-
When you call yourselves Game Mill, it's a
Yeah.
pretty setting the bar pretty low.
they're
kind
the
of-
publishers. So did they develop this as well? I wonder.
I mean, it's still a pretty telling name.
Skull Island: Rise of Kong.
Oh, it's going. Here's another bit. Check out these. They seem to be really all in on the giant enemy
I
crabs
like this painterly graphic thing we got going. What the?
with roller skates. Apparently.
God! Oh my God!
Rawr. Rawr, we're crabs. This is the actual. Yes, this is actual gameplay. Smash, smash, smash.
Smash, smash, smash.
A total of year developed
Oh no!
Game develops Wannabe.
Iguana
They had a total of 1 year of development.
Oh, well, that's
Oh
not
no!
great.
I mean,
Oh, you should have let him cook.
Although, maybe Aggro Crab will, like, add an enemy gorilla to their game.
How do you know if you're hurting them? They're made of chitin.
I can,
Couldn't tell?
but and I can respect that they didn't have much time, but it's like
Still.
the guy who made the ET video game also had to do it in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, that
weeks?
one was his
Yeah,
fault.
Yeah.
and it's
He
a bad,
volunteered.
but that doesn't make it not a bad game.
Yeah, it's true. God, just because like Skull Island is like that idea, right? That's a universal property because it is King Kong, right? Like it is part of the whole. Was that not Universal Pictures that did King Kong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Universal.
So it's part of that thing, and I'm like, so someone's handing out licenses left, right, and center to be like, make a thing, and if these guys got picked, I feel really bad for them now because it's like, man, you see this is like, oh my God, this is supposed to be like Skull Island. This is supposed to be like, this should be like a big deal, and it looks like trash. And you're like, oh, but then if you're like, you've had a year to work on this, it's like, oh, everything's explained now. That's too bad.
Apparently, the previous in 2005 there was another King Kong game called Peter Jackson's King Kong: the official game of the movie
Ooh,
for
on the
GameCube.
nice.
But yeah, so
Just play Go Ape.
Yeah,
If you need a game with a monkey in it that's a lot of fun, go play Go Ape.
or
Escape Ape, or
Ape. What's
Ape Escape, isn't that
Donkey Konga.
Donkey Kong is
Donkey
good.
Konga, yeah.
What's the
Ape Out? Sorry,
Ape Out, that's it.
That's the one I was actually thinking of.
Ape Out is sweet. That would have been a cool like Ape Out, except you're actually King Kong. Like just do Ape Out, but like the scale is like instead of like running around a research facility, you're running around like a city.
Yeah,
smashing
shooting at you and stuff. Yeah.
There are many other
Peter
games
Jackson's
that
King Kong colon.
are filled with giant monkey boy, who will be much more satisfying.
Yeah. Rampage. Play that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I went to our local game store called Epic Games. They have an arcade. This is
Not sponsored, by the way.
This is roughly connected. They have an arcade there, and they have Rampart. And I bring this up solely because when I was doing Beach's Backlog on the Subathon, I played Rampage because it was one of the Midway Arcade classics, but so is Rampart, and I played those, one after another, essentially. Rampart is a very different game than Rampage.
Yes.
But they have...
You were just playing them alphabetically?
Kind of, a little bit. But but they have the 3-player cabinet for Rampart that has the roller balls and everything, and I was like, where did you get this? This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Are they the Epic Games store? No, Epic.
Not Epic Game Stores. Epic Games and More.
Epic Games and More, our local video
were-
place is actually not that super local
No.
in terms of at least where we are right now, and
It's a bit of a walk.
but they did just move,
Yeah.
so they have like this fancy location now and like a big space for an arcade and stuff. That's why Beach went, because they moved. I haven't been yet. I want to go check it out.
Yeah, I wonder how long they've had that. Had that name, the Epic Games and More. 'Cause that's,
They
At
had
least
it
for
since
several years.
Like the last one, I think they had that, and I think when they were at like the bicycle shop or near the bicycle shop on Quadra, I think they were calling themselves that too. But yeah.
Anyway, that's all the news that I thought was
I call
interesting
something
to talk
local
about anyway.
if it's walkable, and that's not a walkable store for me.
The locals like in Victoria.
There's so many places I can't go that are local then, Paul.
Yeah.
I know. I would, as somebody who also does walk everywhere. There's like Victoria's local, but there's also like walkable local.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a few more bike lanes here, and everything will improve. for
I'm not
people.
riding a bike. You can't make me. I'll get a scooter like all the cool kids.
Like a razor scooter.
Or like-
If it can
Or like
fold
a
up.
Vespa. Oh,
No,
okay.
I don't want a Vespa. That
Okay.
sounds like work
Super
and,
Cub?
and thing.
Can we buy Super Cub? Can we
No,
buy Super
I don't want
E-Cub?
a Super Cub. I
Can we
want
buy
a
a
thing,
Piper Cub?
I want a thing I can fold up and take in the house.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't know what all these words are.
I want a proper scoot. That's what Corey calls it, and that's what I'm calling
She
it.
wants a little e-scoot as well. All right, fair. It's just your birthday. If I'd known, well, I would probably.
Yeah,
wouldn't have bought you one
I
anyway.
probably wouldn't have used it, to be honest. I prefer walking. I like just kind of walking around listening to podcasts, and I feel like if I'm on something that can move fast, I don't want things in my ears.
That's probably wise. Yeah.
I just don't trust cars or anyone else on the street
Fair.
or on the sidewalk, to be honest.
I mean, that's a real thing. Actually, they talk about that for cars as well. That like listening to like a podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
There's what's called situational blindness,
Yeah.
where it's basically when you're listening to something, you're sort of as if you are kind of in that space.
Yeah.
Which can
Take you out of the space if I need to drive.
yeah, it can take you out of the space if I need to drive. Which is, it's one of those weird things where people are like, of course I can, talk on the phone or listen to the thing.
Yeah.
I can talk to somebody in the car with me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have that mental
No.
connection there.
It's why when I back up my car, the first thing I do is I turn my radio off. It's like I can't, like if I'm backing up into my car, into my space at home, when I back the car into that space, I turn the radio off because I'm like, I cannot have anything else happening while I am trying to very carefully maneuver my vehicle while I can't see in 3 dimensions. It's like I need to be very... But when I'm out driving, it's like, 40 kilometers an hour and we'll just hit the radio. Yeah, tell me the news today.
I mean, I always, as a passenger, I usually try to turn off people's radios when I get into their cars, just because I don't like to talk to people while there's radios, like while there's other. I don't multitask like that very well. I mean, not aggressively.
Yeah.
But if possible, I prefer there not to be radio going on while I'm trying to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's why I only listen to the same music that I listened to since I was in high school, because that way I don't have that problem, because I'm already familiar with the music. I'm not part of it. Yeah. That's why I've never listened to anything new in my life.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the new music part of my brain is not accessible right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's why I rewatch shows that are things I've seen a million times before when I'm trying to actually do something else.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I want the background noise, but it also has to be shows that I know will not, even if I've seen them a million times, will not, like, take my attention. Because sometimes just, even if you've seen a really good show, will just pull your attention regardless.
When I watch the news on YouTube, I don't watch it. I put it on, I grab my iPad, and I play Picross while I listen to the news. And I look up from time to time to see if there's stuff that they're putting on screen that's important. I just go back to playing Picross. I retain more information that way. It's the weirdest thing. I've tried not doing it, and I'm like, I can't fucking deal. There's nothing going on. I gotta do a thing.
I've tried to watch the videos that you're watching, and I don't. They're visually very unappealing.
I generally can't listen to podcasts unless I'm doing something, like if I'm cleaning or doing dishes.
I like to be moving around at least.
Yeah, doing or walking or like doing something.
There's certain brain tasks I can't do while doing that, but like walking around is generally when I get most of my podcast time. Dishes are a great podcast listening time.
Absolutely.
Chores around the house, doing your laundry, folding your laundry is the perfect time to listen to a podcast.
That should be There's probably there's so many podcasts these days. Probably ones that are like specifically for folding laundry too.
I listen to gaming podcasts mostly, but
Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us on this episode of ChillPoint. Note that as we, I guess I don't have to tell you now, but obviously, as we get into November Desert Bus times, both ChillPoint and ChillPoint will start getting a little bit.
it may be wonky.
A little bit weird. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
But do around, was it November? No, November 11th?
It's the start.
It's the start. So twitch.tv/desertbus for that. Check that out. But also don't forget our stuff, like patreon.com/loadingreadyrun or store.loadingreadyrun.com. Beach, anything specific people should buy?
Whatever's left. I mean, the
DVDs. Get rid of the coasters.
That's kind of nice. The Moon-based Space Lines line is now all shipping.
Yeah.
It hasn't all completely shipped, but it is almost all completely shipped.
So
it is
that's
shipping
good
out
news.
now, so
Yeah.
you should be getting that soon if you ordered it.
Yeah.
And hopefully should be receiving some shipping notifications and stuff too.
Apparently some people have been just receiving it and haven't gotten any shipping notifications at all.
Yeah, I've seen reports about
Well,
that.
I assume I had a talk with PMC actually about like what's happening. They're like, we're noticing that, like, they have tracking numbers for everything. They're like, we're noticing that for some reason that there's a breakdown in communication technologically, and it's like, so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, yeah, so everything's shipping successfully, no problems there, but people might actually get their stuff before they are actually going to get their shipping notices. And I'm like, that sucks, but that means that
that sounds
hopefully
like
you'll
a
be
weird
notified.
tech problem.
Like those things should be shipping now. Keep an eye out from your local posties, and if you are overseas and you're like, man, I might have to pay like some customs and duties and stuff on that too. Hopefully you're gonna get your tracking number in time, but if you don't, you might just want to check in. If you don't normally get a notification, you might want to check in with the posties just to be sure. It's like, is there something that's arriving for me? So, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.